Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my very first video on this channel. I'm so excited to finally be doing this because this has been in the mental works anyway for quite some time, and the fact that I have the ability to do this now really excites me. I'm a wee bit nervous, but I'm also really excited to just begin and start a new journey and try something different and fun. I love books. This is going to be a booktube channel, so to speak, where I discuss bookish things. So if you're into that, come join me, subscribe, like my content if you are so inclined. And I can't wait to, engage with you in the community. Since this is my very first video, I'm going to be doing what's called the BOOKTUBE newbie challenge, or sorry, the BOOKTUBE newbie tag. It's not exactly a challenge. And this is something that has been going around the BookTube, Bookstagram, Book Talk space for a number of years now. And it's just kind of a way that we can get to know each other a bit. So the first question here is, who are you? What is your name and where are you from? My name is Josh. Hello, nice to meet you. And I'm from Canada. Number 2, what are you excited for on BookTube? I'm quite excited for the community. It is, in my experience, a very encouraging community where people who are passionate about literature come to discuss and share their love for different genres and authors and, stories. I love imagination. I think imagination is simply sublime. I think it's so beautiful and fascinating that the human mind can come up with all of these different stories and to come up with all these different complexities within the stories too. And the way that people communicate different themes is just mind-boggling. I absolutely love it. It is a huge passion of mine, which is why I'm making this video today. Number 3, what will you bring to BookTube? Well, something that I would like to bring to BookTube is a little bit more diversity in the landscape. And what I mean by that is I find that a lot of content centers around what is a mainstream novel or nonfiction book. Often those that are bestsellers. I mean, some of them do become bestsellers because they're discussed on BookTube, and that's amazing. I absolutely love that. But I find that a lot of them are kind of the same. So I've noticed that in my own reading journey, I don't usually read always the most popular books, or at least the most current books. I do read some, of course, and I will be sharing those on this channel, but I also just want to share some of the other things that I read that I'm interested in, things that are perhaps more niche, or maybe not more niche, but more global. I do read a lot of global literature, and so that's something that you can definitely expect on this channel. And you can also expect books in other languages. I don't always read books in English. I also speak French and Spanish, so I do read, books in those languages as well, and I will be discussing those, albeit doing so in English for you guys. And, yeah. Let's see. Question number 4. What challenges do you think you will face on BookTube? Well, I can already say that I will probably be challenged in the area of video editing. I am not a technologically savvy person. I don't really understand it. I wish I did understand it a little bit better because I would love to be super creative. And maybe I will reach that point one day. That would be pretty cool. But currently, I just kind of want to create videos that feel like real, authentic conversations. So there's going to be minimal editing, not only because I'm not technologically savvy, but also because that's the style of videos that I actually prefer watching. So I hope you guys like that too. And yeah. Number 5, when did you start reading? This question is difficult to respond to, and the reason why I say that is because I I've always kind of been a reader, I guess. Which is funny because I never thought I was a reader. I always thought reading was boring, but I think that was just kind of society telling me that reading was boring, because in reality, if I actually look back on my life and, you know, think about what I did on my day-to-day life outside of school, it was reading. It was either reading or writing, honestly. And so literature has always been a huge part of my life. It's always been a huge influence in my life in so many different ways. I first started reading before I started kindergarten, and in Canada, in my province, that particular level of schooling begins at the age of 4 or 5 years old, depending on what month you're born in. And so I started reading before then. I believe I was 3 years old because my mother taught me to read, because I was just so, enraptured by books and by storytelling, and I would just babble with my own stories. I'd just babble on and on and on. And I would also write my own stories before I even knew how to write, so it was not real English or even real letters. So my mom decided to help me out in that regard, and she taught me how to read and write before school, and that's when I really started to read books. Since I was so young, I don't know what books those were, but my earliest memories of books would be the Boxcar Children. I was really into that series. My grandmother would get me those books every single year for Christmas and my birthday, so I had quite a few. There were the Adventures of Spencer something. I don't remember his last name, but those were some middle grade kind of chapter books that were about this, prankster, and he was really funny. There were also these Christian novels. I forget who it's by, something Myers. They were quite funny. I remember reading them and laughing out loud. The one that I particularly remember is the first in this series, called My Life as a Smashed Burrito with Extra Hot Sauce. That one was so good. There's also My Life as a Millennium Bug. And I read a lot of those too growing up. And oh gosh, there's so many picture books too that I loved. I just read and wrote all the time. So, yeah, it's hard to define when I started reading. I hope that answers the question. Let's see here. Number 6. What books got you into reading? I guess I kind of already answered that. Pretty much the Boxcar Children, those Adventures of Spencer. Oh, I really liked Arthur. Arthur, as a TV show, was bomb, but so were the books. And I loved the books. I read those until I was probably too old to read them. I don't know why. They were just comfort reads to me, even when I was a young child. So those were something I really enjoyed. Number 7, where do you like to read? I like to read wherever it is comfortable. Essentially, that means a couch or a bed. I would like to read in a really good chair, but I don't have such a chair, so I don't often get to do so. But every once in a while, you're in public, you're at a library or a bookstore, or maybe even a furniture store, or a friend's house even, and you take a seat and you just know that is the perfect reading chair. I would love to have that one day. But I currently read in the living room on the couch, or in my bedroom on the bed before I fall asleep, or when I have a break, I don't have any work to do, I might read in my office because I have a couch in here as well. Yeah, my favorite thing to do is honestly to listen to soft jazz music, have a cup of tea, and just listen to, the music and read. And if I don't have soft jazz music, then, I like to open the window, listen to the chirping birds, or even where I live, listening to the cackling coyotes or the cooing of the loons. Those are quite commonly heard at night, and I find that peaceful. So, next question. Let's see here. This one is question number 8. What do you currently like to read? I have a very diverse range of interests in reading. Primarily, I like to read fiction, but there is some fiction that I enjoy, namely memoirs. However, those memoirs I'm very particular with because I don't like to read just any memoir. I usually like to read a memoir that is got some emotional depth to it, that speaks on mental health, and that also I have some sort of familiarity with in terms of who the person is who is writing. They do not need to be a celebrity. They do not need to be someone that I'm a huge fan of, but I just want to have some sort of knowledge of who they are, just so that I already have a foundation of connection, because I find that that helps me to actually stay engaged in the book personally, and it makes me have more fun overall. In terms of fiction, pretty much name any genre and I'm probably interested, with the exception of horror and westerns and erotica. I do not like those, or usually high fantasy or space operas. So I guess there are some genres I don't like. The ones that I do like are contemporary fiction. I like classics. Never really thought I liked classics, but then I checked my Goodreads account last year and realized that I've read a lot of classics from around the world, so apparently I like classics. I also really like literary fiction, romance, romantic comedies, science fiction, dystopia, magical realism is really cool. I like graphic novels and manga, and I do like children's picture books. I think they're super creative. I love the way that they can be so poetic, even though it's still reaching a younger audience. I love the art that is also in there. I love the simplicity and the art of simplicity sometimes. And there's so many different styles too. I've really come to appreciate children's literature, specifically when it comes to picture books, over this past year. I've read quite a few, and it's nice to kind of see the cultural shift in terms of the themes that are presented in children's literature nowadays compared to when I grew up. Because when I grew up, I felt like it was very kind of frou-frou, just entertainment, and now I feel like there are real, stories and in-depth morals that pertain to real life, and they're more emotionally involved, and I think that's really cool. So I've been kind of exploring that more. So you're gonna be seeing some of those on this channel too. So yeah, that's kind of what I like to read. Let's see here. What does your book collection look like? Well, I have 2 bookcases next to me, actually. Unfortunately, I cannot show you them at the moment. Maybe we'll do a book tour in another video. But it pretty much looks like all those genres that I mentioned, with the exception of some cookbooks and some non-fiction related to Christian self-help. And some booktubers that I enjoy would include Jack Edwards. I really like his main channel, but he also has a secondary channel called Jack in the Books. Emma, I really like her channel. If you're into very aesthetic, relaxing vlog type videos, she's your girl. Noah Gallagher has this amazing narrative voice. I really like listening to her just speak, so her books are really, her book videos rather are really good. We also have similar taste. And this other person I just recently started watching, her name is Shaughnessy. I'll link all these people down below. She talks a lot about romance and romantic comedies and clean romance, and that's something that I also appreciate. So yeah, those are kind of the people that I appreciate. and look out for and watch regularly on here. Thank you so much for joining me today and for spending the time on my channel and with this video. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to continue making these for you and engaging with you in the comments below and starting a little book community together. Until then, take care. Bye for now.